Hey guys, I'm here at the intersection. I miss you all so much. But just because we can't be together doesn't mean we can't talk and learn about God. So today we're gonna start with our second 2PC youth devotional. If you are here, you are awesome. First, we'll start with a devotion and then we're gonna do a service project together. Okay, so for our devotion, we're gonna talk a little bit about a story from the Bible. It's from the New Testament, so if you have a Bible with you, you can go to it. It's in the book of Matthew, which is one of the Gospels. It's Matthew chapter 22 verses 34 through 40. And here's what happens. It's a story about Jesus. Jesus is talking to some of the Pharisees, so like the really important, smart, religious people, these fancy religious leaders, and they get together and they're kind of trying to trick him, and they ask him a question. They say, "Teacher, which commandment in the law is the greatest?" They're hoping maybe he'll say the wrong thing. But Jesus, he says the right thing, and he says, the greatest commandment is this: you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the greatest and first commandment. And then Jesus says this next part. He says the second greatest commandment is just like the first one. It says, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Just as much as you love yourself, that's how much you should love your neighbor. And it's actually as important to love your neighbor as it is to love God. Sometimes I think it feels a little difficult to know what it means to love my neighbor. Right now, that looks a little different than it usually does too, because we're not really supposed to go outside and be with our friends and our family, to be with strangers or with others who we might want to care for. But I think that there are still some ways that we can show people in our community that we love them. I wonder if you might have thought of some ways that you could show your family that you love them. I wonder if you've thought of some ways you could show your friends that you love them, even if you can't be around them. What about other people in our community? What about other people in our church? There's one group of people that's been on my mind quite a bit who might be very lonely right now. There are some elderly folks in our community who live in nursing homes or in their own homes, but because of concerns about their health, they're not able to leave their houses, and for some of them in nursing homes, they're not even able to leave their rooms right now to go out and see their friends, to talk to their family, to have visitors. I think that must feel very lonely. One thing I was thinking that we could do that might be a good way to love our neighbors is if we wrote some letters to give to some of our friends from church, even if we don't know them, just to say that we love them and we're thinking of them. So for our next thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna work on our service project. I'm gonna show you a good way to write a letter to a person at church who might need a friend. In the email that I sent to your parents, there's a copy of this sheet right here. This is a coloring page and it has a prayer on it. So the first thing that you can do if you want to send a letter to somebody is, if you have access to a printer, print this out and color it in. But before you do, we want to make sure that we're taking extra care to protect our neighbors. Before you get started, the very most important thing is to wash your hands. Whatever you got to do to make sure your hands are clean before you start the project. Your next job is to color, and as you color, I hope that you will pray. Say a prayer for peace for the person that you are writing this letter to. Once I've done that, now I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to fold it with the inside in the middle. So I'm going to fold it in half, and as I do, I'm going to pray for help. I'm going to ask that Jesus will come and give this friend the healing and protection that they need. Now I've got it folded like this. I'm going to fold it in half one more time to make a little note card. And as I fold, I'm going to pray for peace. That this friend will feel the peace of God
that they will feel confident and safe and secure, and that above all, they will feel loved. Now, I have a card, and I get to decorate it however I want. I might write on the front that God loves you. I might draw a picture. I might put some flowers or a picture of a puppy dog or whatever you think might make someone feel happy and loved. Then on the inside, I'm going to write a note. I'm going to make sure I write that person's name, because when you're feeling lonely, it's really important to know that there are people out there who know your name. So I'm going to write their name, and I'm just going to write them a little note to say that I'm thinking of them and that I believe that God loves them and that our church and our youth group are here to support them whatever they need. And then you're going to sign your name so they'll know who you are. There's going to be a link that I've sent out in the email and will also be listed in this YouTube video for you to be able to click on, and you can sign up. And all I need you to write is to write your name and then the number of cards that you want to write. And I'm going to send you back some addresses for people and the names of the folks that you'll write to. You can write to one person, you can write to 10 people. However many cards you want to make, let me know, and I'll get you set up with addresses for people to send cards to. Okay, that's it for today. We're going to meet virtually on Sunday evening, 5 p.m. for middle schoolers and 6 p.m. for senior high. So I really hope to see you there. It'll bring me a lot of joy to see your faces. I hope that everybody is doing okay, and I want you to know how much God loves you and how much I love you too. Let me know what you need. See you later, 2PC Youth.